back when I did the date days layout a couple of videos ago, I commented that we had gone blueberry picking one day, and I was a little bit disparaging of blueberry picking as a date. I probably reacted a little too quickly on that because in comparison, it might not have been bad. August turned out to be doctor appointment month. Nothing terribly serious, just a lot of little stuff, some routine things, and just all kinds of appointments. And I got to eat a lot of good lunches. We went out to lunch a lot of times, different places, but we didn't really do much in the way of our date days. So I'm going to go back and celebrate the blueberry picking day with the photos that I took, and we're going to do those on a layout. So I have this photo of the two of us together that I know I want to use, and I have two different pictures of me. That I've got the cool hat, which is probably a little bit better picture of me, but it doesn't show the blueberries, and there's really nothing else that shows the blueberries, so I think I'm going to go with this one. I mean, I could do this photo and then just like cut that part out or something instead of using the whole thing, but I think I'm just going to put that one aside. I have a photo of my husband, but I also of the area of the place that we went, and so you can kind of see that. So I think I'm going to use these two together, and I liked them so much that I had already printed out a small version of each one. Sometimes I don't like to do the full 4x6 because it just takes up so much real estate and doesn't give you a lot of room for journaling unless you do hidden journaling. So I could do this, or I can do this. Let's put it on a 12x12 paper. All right. I have a couple of different 12x12 papers out here, so let's just pull one and see. That one is so green. So it can look like that, or it could be this way, or I can do the small one. Yeah, I went into this thinking I was going to go ahead and do the large ones, but I'm not sure. I think I kind of like the smaller photos of us. I think that's enough. So I think I'm going to do that one. All right. Now, in terms of paper, I've pulled out paper and I've pulled out chipboard to do letters. Bright blue is a difficult color to come by, or at least it used to be. I have not been buying scrapbook supplies, so there may be tons of bright blue stuff out there. I don't know. But back when I was buying supplies for many, many years, this was a tough color to come by. So I have just a few blue papers left. This is an old Stampin' Up! Paper. I remember when I first used this. So this is probably 10 or 12 years old. And that's all I got left of it. And I have this pretty blue, and then this one. I don't think this one is the right color. I think it's a little too bright. So I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. It's not too bad. Since I'm using smaller photos, it doesn't make that much difference. But I think one of the other of those. I also love this paper. This one has the green, has these little tiny blue dots that kind of look like blueberries. So I think it's a great paper. And then it's which of these two backgrounds to put things on. And I can already tell when I laid the photos on this that the green is just, there's not enough contrast, even though I may end up having those matted or something. I think this one is too dark. And this also has a vine-like look to it. So let's see how they look on this green paper. Again, and I just went through my drawers by color and pulled these papers out. Yeah, this green works with that better. So I like that background paper, and then I'm going to use these little papers. And these, I didn't have any blue. I had blue letters, but I didn't have enough that had the right, enough letters in them. Or blue stickers, but I didn't have enough. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to use some of these stickers that they were originally designed to spray mist on. The mists, I did a video a couple of years ago where I showed some different things you could do with mists, and I said that if I ever was cleaning out my space and I needed the room, the mist would be one of the first things to go. Well, they went. I gave 2 sets of stuff to our local school system. And the mists went in with I think the first box of stuff that I sent with them because they were in a basket. I just left them in the basket and away they went because I just wasn't using them enough and I just did not have room for them. But you can use, if you have any of these kinds of stickers left in your stash, even if you don't have mist, you can color them with markers, you can color them with paints, and they're really great with watercolors. So this set of thickers is a variety of fonts, and each letter is like the Y's are all the same font, the E's are all of whatever font they are, it's all the way through. But at any rate, I'm just picking through the letters for blueberry picking. And that's going to be my real fancy title. I used to love cute titles, and I think I need to get back to that. But for now, we're going to just do blueberry picking. And then I'm going to paint with watercolors. And I have a really great ultramarine blue color there, but it's a little bit bright. So I'm going to try it that way, but I think what I'm going to want to do is add a little, to gray it up a little bit. And you can do that with using the opposite of blue, which would be orange, on the color wheel, or I just usually add a little black. Before I knew to use the opposite of the color wheel, I would just add a little black to things if I wanted to make them gray, so that's what I'm doing. And it's a little bit there was a little too dark there, but I'm trying a few different things, and I'm practicing also on one of the chipboard letters, because that's really what I'm going to be painting. I picked the number 7 because there was like 5 7s in this set, and I'll never use all of those. Sometimes I use Q's or Z's or something like that I know I'm not going to use a lot of. But I let it dry pretty good, and I'm getting enough paint here. The good thing about watercolors is it's not supposed to look necessarily all uniform, so it's okay if I end up with a little more blue, a little brighter blue in places than others. That's fine. And I'm just taking the watercolors and painting over this canvas letters. But these, I don't know if they still make this chipboard with the canvas, but it's great for coloring your own letters. And I have quite a bit of it, so I thought it would be a good use here. And as I get through painting them, I end up adding a little bit of just pure ultramarine blue to brighten up a few of them, and again give that watercolor look of not having them all the same. And you'll see in a few minutes that they dry really different, a little bit lighter than what is shown here, but they still look good with the papers. There they are, all dried and ready to go on the layout. I just need to start arranging things. So I decided on that blue paper, and I just took the papers and kind of trimmed them down to what sizes they were, didn't really measure anything, just sort of evened them up a little bit. And you can see the plan there where that paper with the leaves and the little blue dots is kind of hanging over to the right. That's going to be important in a little while. It's how it's supposed to look. But I felt like I needed some I definitely needed some embellishment, and I wanted to do some blueberries. But I found these canvas leaves, but I didn't have blueberries. I had some little pieces of chipboard, little circles of chipboard, and I'm going to paint those blue. Now those will have to be painted with paint as opposed to with watercolors. Kind of working on the arrangement. I tried the leaf paper in a little different place, but it's going to go underneath the blue. Okay, so now I had already put up all my paints. Now I got to get my paint back out, and I'm going to use some true blue craft paint to paint the little chipboard pieces. I've got 2 different sizes there that'll help the realistic look, and I'm just experimenting with a quick green mixture of green and yellow to do those leaves, and I do end up adding a little bit darker color to the edges of the leaves, and that makes them look a little more realistic and more interesting. If you're using watercolors, you might as well do some variation in color. That's really what they're all about. Now I also want the blueberries to have a little bit more interest to them too, so I paint them in this blue, and then once they dry, I'm going to add a little bit of gloss to each corner, and that will help them have some variation in color, look like they're kind of wet on the edges. And what I ended up using was some gloss medium there, and just put a little bit of that around each edge. And that's not going to show up great on the camera, but it does show up in person. You can see a little bit there on the camera. I put some ribbon down across the bottom. I needed something for these elements to rest on since everything was blue and green already. and they'll get glued on with Tombow adhesive, and there's plenty of room now for journaling for our page. But take a look at the paper. You can already start to see what I did. I accidentally put the blue paper completely on top of the green, and so I tried to remedy this by experimenting and seeing if I could take what little bit I had left of the green paper and the green and blue paper and see if I could put it somewhere, but it just really didn't work. I really felt like it was too much, so I ended up taking it out. And the journaling is right justified, and it's in blueprint, and that, I think, it's just a little bit extra special touch when you're doing your word processing to pay attention to how your text is formatted. So I feel like the page needs one more thing, and so I already know, going through my stickers, I don't really have anything quite appropriate for this, so I'm going to kind of make my own sticker. I just have some plain stickers here, old label stickers. I'm going to use this one and some stamps. So I'm going to do 2 different colors of ink, which will make it look more like it was a purchase sticker. And so it's going to say, "You make me smile." So I'm going to put the "make me smile" on here first. Actually, I should test this on something. I have an old piece of paper here. Yeah, that'll work. It's a little bit of a dark green, but that'll be fine. All right. Okay. All right, and this is regular Distress ink, so it dries just about instantly. This Distress Oxide ink, I have the perfect color, but it does not dry fast, so I'll have to either let that dry or be very, very careful with it so I don't smudge it. To put on "you." Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. And that's going to finish off our page. So we used a lot of paint and inks and different things to make, to customize the colors and embellishments for this page, adding some color to get just the right color of thickers, using a change in color and fonts and words for typing up the journaling. And then down here, I just used some scrap chipboard to make what looks like blueberries, and then I had these canvas pieces that I could use for the leaves, and then kind of my own customized sticker. So that gives us a very custom page for our blueberry picking layout. I hope you've enjoyed today's page and that you'll come back and watch some other videos in the future. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. And I really appreciate all your comments. Thank you. Bye.